Welcome to In This Season podcast, where we unpack the most empowering conversations, have exclusive and inspirational interviews, and host special events. Join Tammy, some call her Butterfly, and explore life's purpose by learning how to embrace each season of your life with confidence, strength, and purpose. Whether you're blooming in the spring, or shining in the summer, or embracing change in the fall, or gracefully hibernating in the winter, get ready to be inspired. Join us right here on this season of In This Season podcast with your host, the Butterfly. It's time, no matter what season it is.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Brandon, how is it going?
Good morning. It's going great. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm doing great. Y'all know what we got to do. Let us know that you're out there. Say good morning. Let's feed these ducks. Let's bring them on in. Y'all ready for it? Brandon, getting your groove on? You feeding the ducks this morning?
Who are you? Where you from? Huh? What'd you say?
I said, you feeding the ducks this morning? Are you feeding the ducks this morning?
Look, man, I got ducks, chickens. I got a ringneck parrot. Got a lot. I got some babies to feed. I'm feeding them all this morning.
All right, y'all. Come on in. Say good morning as you come in. Say good morning. We're going to go ahead and get this started, get the barbecue started so we can eat and get out of here, right?
Yeah.
All right, Brandon. So how's it going?
So good right now. Just took a quick shower, got out, prayed, putting on some of this butter that my wife made. She made some nice lotion and body butter, and it is amazing. She makes it every year. So y'all let me know if y'all want some. Let me know. We got some over here, but it feels so good after you get out the shower. Make my head a little bit shinier. How you doing, babe?
Oh wow.
No,
it does.
You see, I'm serious.
All right.
Just so glow. But no, I'm doing great. How are you? I know you were up a little late last night, weren't you?
No, I went to sleep. I'm back. I caught up on my rest.
Good. Well,
caught up on it. So I'm good. I'm back at it.
I knew you had to be something because you didn't check on us when we got home last night. I was like, I forgot to text mom, and I texted you kind of late, and you ain't say nothing. So I was like, yeah, she knocked out.
I was asleep.
Good to hear.
So, all right, let's jump right into it. You guys say good morning. Nobody has checked in yet. Go ahead and do the check-ins. Brandon, let's get it going. Let's start it.
Let's do it, y'all. Welcome again to the In This Season podcast. Welcome this morning. Thank you for involving us and letting us be a part of your morning routine. It is bright and early on this Saturday morning, so I know some of you may still be asleep or just waking up, knocking the sleep out of your eye, but we want to thank you 100 times for being here. We really appreciate it. We are reading through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. This tethered book has been used very much, but it's all for good purpose because, we've been learning so much from this, taking a lot away from it, incorporating it in our lives and seeing the value in it. So it's a low cost, high value book. Make sure that you support this Black author that we, as a show, have pulled so much from. Daily Motivations for African American Success. This book will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that will lead to the achievement of your true goals. In 365 short, powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro, the author of the popular Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and how to look inward for answers to life's challenges. Each motivation begins with words of wisdom from such distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Edelman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year. But what it teaches will last a lifetime. It'll last you a lifetime. So again, thank y'all for being here. And welcome to the show. Over to you, Mom.
All right. Bernie, I feel like reading this part. If there's any power that can reverse the fortunes of race, Can you do it for me?
It is character. Sure. It says if there's any power that can reverse the fortunes of race, it's character. Every thought which enters our mind, every word we utter, every deed we perform makes its impression on the innermost fiber of our being.
All right, all right. So let's jump right into it. Let's get into today's topic.
All right. Today's topic passage is Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune. For some, self help is too much to ask, says Tony Brown, the journalist and talk show host. Tony Brown. For some, self help is too much to ask. That's our quote for today. And our passage goes as follows: The grandest fortunes ever accumulated began with energy, intellect, and will. From Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist, to Oprah Winfrey, America's #1 talk show host. From W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, to the acclaimed writer Toni Morrison, the story is the same. Those who have won must have relied mostly upon themselves. Surely one of the saddest creatures around is the one labeled the prisoner of hope. This is an individual who hopes that someday a wealthy relative will die and leave him a fortune. The prisoner of hope hopes that someday, while walking down the street, he will see bags of money that will contain his life's fortune, or at least enough to give him security. He's the kind of person who goes to the shore to see if his ship is coming in, when in reality he knows that it has never left the port. The prisoner of hope hasn't discovered that if you really want to find a helping hand, you should look at the end of your own sleeve. Each of us must set in motion the words of Booker T. Washington, who urged us all to start where you are with what you have, knowing that what you have is plenty enough. And our affirmation for today is: there is no free lunch. I plan on working for everything I get. There is no free lunch. I plan on working for everything I get. What do you think about that one, Mom? Over to you.
Brandon, so it does have Frederick Douglass, Oprah Winfrey, but Frederick Douglass, you guys, that's one of my favorite people. I've told you guys, if you want somebody to study that will encourage you, he is my guy that says, during slavery, you can have my body, but never my mind. He took chances to go away and learn how to write and read, right? He didn't depend on it. He didn't buy into slaves. You cannot learn, right? You cannot learn to read. You are not capable. He says, you can have my body, but never my mind. And that's what it goes back to. Once you make up in your mind, and that's the problem here, that we don't make up in our minds. We don't have the faith nor the hope, right? And then the action behind it. Because he could have believed, hey, you can have my body, but never my mind. He could have believed it, but never snuck away in the darkness to learn how to read and write. He had to put the action behind it. And our quote says, for some, self-help is too much to ask. Why? Because we consistently and sometimes often wait on people to do it for us, right? There are people who exist like this, waiting for somebody to die so they can get their money. I've actually heard people say that. Like, as long as I get my part when they die. Like, really, that's what you think about?
Wow.
That's what you think about. I've heard it. I've heard it from someone close to me, right? And then we have W.E.B. Du Bois. Brandon, you know about him,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the play, not the
Yeah.
strange, the Talented 10. The Talented 10. He didn't wait. He didn't wait for that ship to come that has never left the port. And why? Why has it never left the port? Because you're not taking the action. We don't take the action to do the things that we want to do. What is that quote, Brandon? When our thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony. When what we think, when what we say, and what we do are in harmony, that's where life begins. And many of us will say it, as we talked about yesterday, but not believe it. Many of us will say it, not believe it, and not do it. So you're hoping and praying for something that you don't believe you deserve or will get. And that is the person who walks down the street and kicks rocks, thinking something's gonna open up for them, some money is gonna come out of the bag and be there for them. Do you know how many times that has happened? Right? Do you really know how many times that has happened? So the chances for it happening to you is slim to none. So you have to get up and help yourself. And we're amongst the people who are not open to doing that. People want something for nothing. They don't want to work. And even if they work, they don't do it to the degree that they should to get the paycheck that they're to get. So, Brandon, I'm in agreement with this one. People need to wake up and do something. And as you read that if there's ever any power that could reverse the fortunes of race, it is character. It is character. What is character? What is your character? Who are you? Are you this hopeless person, yet praying and faithless? Not even the faith of a mustard seed? Because God doesn't ask much faith from us, the faith of a mustard seed. We had a passage, Brandon, was it yesterday, that said, if you want to, let me go back. Brandon, I'm going to turn it over to you as I go and find this one, because it was the one that was talking about life has not malfunctioned, you have. Do you remember that one? Were you in on that day?
I don't think I was.
I'm going to go back and look. I'm going to turn it over to you because it talked about if things are not happening, if what you are desiring has not come your way or is not coming your way, it's not that life has malfunctioned, but you have. But you have. So I'm going to try to find it as I turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mom, for those insights and that wisdom. The title Wheel of Fortune, right? Wheel of Fortune, the game show where you'd spin the Wheel of Fortune and see what it landed on. And though there were prizes, this was random, right? This was random to the degree that you didn't know what you were going to get, right? You didn't know, but you had to at least use your own hand, right? But I still think that was if you were expecting to be someone invited on the show Wheel of Fortune to get your actual fortune, then it was a slim to no chance. But by seeing the people that go on the show, you think, man, that could really be me. Out of the millions of people, I'm gonna be the one that goes to the Wheel of Fortune. So I might as well sit on my laurels, sit on my hands and wait. Put in my application for Wheel of Fortune, and I'm just gonna wait for God to give it to me. Right? But like I've said before, God is not a vending machine where you put a prayer in and you get a blessing out, right? That's not how it works. You just sit there and ask, and then it comes. God has a plan. God requires things of us, and God blesses those. He really blesses everyone with life, but make sure that we're not incurring any wrath, by or being stagnant by expecting for God to do absolutely everything while we sit down, even though God has already done what? Given you hands, given you intellect, given you will, given you resources and provision to do for yourself, right? To do for yourself. It says in the Quran that God will not change the condition of a people until they first change that which is within themselves, right? So what is it about your situation that you don't like? And what can you do with it? What can you do about it? Have you done everything in your power, right? In order to remedy whatever is going on in your life, or to get to the next level, or to reach some type of goal, or some type of objective. Is there an objective? Like my mom says all the time, have you written it down? Have you made a plan? Because proper preparation prevents poor performance. All the P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. That's the 5 P's that we should go by. And if you want to perform well in life, at your career, in your marriage, then you got to prepare. Your relationships, you got to prepare. You know. So in doing that, what does that look like, right? Like it says, another thing, it says, tie your camel, then trust in God or trust in Allah, right? Like tie your camel down before you just hop off and start praying, or your camel's going to walk off. Don't be a fool, right? Faith is not foolish, right? You're not foolish to have faith in God, right? You're not foolhardy in saying that I have faith in something, but know that faith without works is dead, right? We've all heard that faith without works is dead, but what is a work? Work is doing something to pursue what you have prayed about, right? The praying part is you expressing, God's ability to do it more than you, right? God's ability to bring out the best in the situation inside of you, inside of the people around you, right? To make things in a way to where it works out for you. But if you never take the step through the door, right? If you never actually, God can open that door for you, but if you never walk through the threshold of that door, then your prayer was for what? I can pray to be the best guitar player in the world. I could pray to memorize the entire Quran, but if I never open that book up, or if I never learn how to play that instrument, then what's going to happen? You think I'm miraculously one day going to upload, how to do these things, or the practice that's needed? There's no way that I can do this without having the will, the strength, the perseverance, the commitment, more so, to achieve this, right? So you got to put your best foot forward, then trust in God. But if you never plant a seed, do you think God's going to grow you a fruit tree? Right? God has already set in mechanisms in place. The sun, the water, those are the things we can't control. But for everything that we can control, I think it's greater faith to actually put action behind our prayers than it is to just pray without action, right? Or to hope without action. So some of you can be a prisoner of hope. And the prisoner could be somebody that's sitting there praying every day and not doing anything, right? God doesn't need our prayers. We do. So it's not so much of, hey, God, I just want to let you. God already knows what you need. You think you have to tell God that? But it's the fact that you are submitting to the Lord of the worlds to know that, hey, I'm about to do this. I'm going to need some help. I might need some help. I might need some guidance. By help, I mean guidance onto what to do. And God will make it happen. God is so good to where, it's so great to where he will order the steps in such a way to where you can be successful if it's good for you. But if it's not, God could easily withhold it from you. Right? So that's where you seek guidance. When you, Lord, I've done everything that I can do and come to you. What am I missing? What do you want me to do? Right? Instead of going to the wheel of fortune, go to the one who created fortune. Go to the one who can change the decree of what your tomorrow looks like, right? And so, but first put your foot before the other. If you're going on a journey and you haven't put one foot in front of the other, then you're not moving anywhere, no matter how much you pray. And that's just the law of the universe. So, like Booker T. Washington said, start where you are with what you have. Know that what you have is plenty enough, right? And if you really want to find a helping hand, you should look at the end of your own sleeve. So what can you do right now with your hand, with your intellect, with your will, with your resources that God has already given you? Know that you wouldn't have the dream, you wouldn't have the vision, right? If you didn't have the potential to accomplish it. You wouldn't have the ability to think up something in your mind if it was not in the realm of possibilities. Every invention that was ever made started in someone's mind, from a chair to a computer to the telephone to the ashtray to the light. You know, everything started in someone else's mind, and then they put effort into it. They didn't just pray for it and pop out of thin air. They put effort into the formation, into the business of it, into the creation of it, and now we have it as like a household item.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was that, it existed in someone else's mind. So what exists right now inside of your mind, inside of your wheelhouse, right? So let's not call it the wheel of fortune. Let's call it the will of fortune, right? How strong is your will in order to achieve the fortune that you want? And by fortune, I'm not just saying monetary, even though that could be it or a part of it. But know that there's a wheelhouse inside of your mind. How big and how strong is the foundation of your wheelhouse? And how much are you putting your will behind what you want to pursue? Right? And the definition, for example, in my faith tradition, the word Muslim means, and this word is also found in Hebrew, actually in the Bible, the word Muslim. There's a different in Hebrew, it sounds slightly different, but it's the same word. Means one who submits to the will of God. What Mom, you just put into the chat.
Mm-hmm.
The will of God. When you submit to the will of God, that is what we call a believer, right? Or it's literally the definition of Muslim, one who submits to the will of God. So that could be anyone, right? If you submit to the will of God. But check this out. That's because our wills are so powerful. We have the choice to do right or do wrong. That's our will. But God has given us guidance on what is right and what is wrong. And within those bounds, we can move and we can aspire and we can achieve, right? But when we submit our will to the greater will of God, it makes it easier for us. We have guidance. We're blessed for it. So don't be
And
afraid.
also when you seek, because
Right.
so often we're not seeking the will of God. As we mentioned yesterday, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be ye transformed. And then we typically stop it there by the renewing of your mind. But why? It is so that you know God's perfect will for your life. Because this is not even really our body, but we have life, you guys, but we don't know what's best for us sometimes. And that's why you have to seek God. You have to seek his will for your life. Because as Brandon said, $1 million may not be for you, because God knows if he gives you that you will turn away from him. Because as you say, Brandon, we don't want to make $1 million. We want to spend $1 million.
Exactly.
And on what? People don't want to have to be married. They want a wedding. You just want the shininess of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we talk about life, we talk about faith, we talk about hope, but some of us get on the wrong journey and stay on there because it's our journey. It's not the will of God for you. You're not on the journey that God placed you. And the only way to know that is to sit before him more, to meditate, pray. As Brandon says, God doesn't need your prayer. We need those prayers for that guidance, to be hopeful, to be faithful, to be fearless, right? So let's stop saying that we serve a mighty God, but we see ourselves as so little. Let me read this part, Brandon. The topic for it was the last word, and the quote was, "The older he grew, the less he said, the more he spoke." So the older he grew, the less he said, but the more he spoke. And the part that talks about the malfunctioning, it says, let me get my light here. It says, to see what you are asking for, look at what you are receiving. We get exactly what we ask for, no more, no less, right? If he does not seem to be supplying you with your needs or desires, it's not because the universe has malfunctioning. It's because subconsciously you are asking for or expecting something other than what you believe you want. And I like to change that. Believe what you will get. Believe in what you're asking for, right? Rarely, sometimes we'll go before God with a prayer and don't have the faith or hope that he will give it. And don't have the faith and hope that if he doesn't give it, he knew that I didn't need it, right? Because he says, I'll supply all of your needs, not wants. And as Brandon has said before, when our wants become our needs, that's it. I shared with a young lady the other day, as we were driving back from an event, I no longer desire the things that I don't need. I don't want the things that I bought and didn't need them. I want to become a minimalist. I want to downsize so much so, right? And I've been saying that now for a couple of years. I got to put action behind that, right? Because so many things that we think we need, we don't. We don't. And that's where we get caught up thinking, oh, well, God says he'll supply my needs, but I need this. No, you want that. You want those things. And sometimes you have to determine, why do you want them? As we talked about yesterday, was it the conservative party, Brandon? Like you just get caught up in the fads and the fashions. You want what the world wants. You don't want to, you want to be a part of that world, right? You want to buy, you want to spend the money. You want to buy things that you don't need. Yeah, the red bottoms, the $800 shoes, the $1,000 purses, ladies. A man can't take care of you with those kind of things. So you have to get down to the why. To the why. And most times it's because you don't have the self-confidence, you don't have the self-help, the self-awareness that you will only get by going before God and seeking his face. And then, Brandon, as we talk about and we'll get ready to get out of here, what's at the end of our sleeves? What's at the end of your sleeves? Is it just for you? Or is it about building the kingdom of God? Because it is a blessing to be a blessing to people. What God gives you is not all about you. It's not all about you. He gives you and provides you so that you can help others. And so people can help you as well. So it's not just about you. Turn the wheel and let it be for you and somebody else. Give back. Don't hold it in your hand for yourself. Because in that, God can't bless you or the other person because you got it so tight. But you believe in a big God and say that you serve a big God, but you will pass by someone and not even pray for them. You will walk past a homeless person and not pray that he finds food or a shelter on that night. We are the same people who will not give a family member $10 if they asked and was in need, but to spend $100 to go to their funerals. Okay? So it's about you. It's about your character, who you are, what you're doing, what you're seeking, what you're hopeful for. Is it just for you? Do you go before God just for you? Right? Because his will for our lives is so far away in most cases, unless you have. There's the verse that says God will give you the desires of your heart. That's if your heart is in harmony with him, right? Because oftentimes the desires of our heart has nothing to do with God. So how can he give you those? Some of the things we may want has nothing to do with God. God will not even entertain those things for you or anybody else. So when your desires become, or your heart becomes more like God, right? When you have forgiveness in your heart, right? Servant attitude, then the things that you seek are the things that God can give because it's the character of God. Loving, kind, right? So, y'all, this is about you. What wheel are you turning? The wheel of fortune. What wheel are you turning? And is it the will of God or the will of the world or the will of you? So that'll help you, Brandon. I'm going to get some of these comments and I'm going to turn it back over to you as I read us through.
All right.
I've been wondering where you guys were. It took a minute for them to come in. Cousin Monique says, good morning. Big Mike, brother Mike
What up,
says, good morning, everyone.
Big Mike? What's up?
Big Mike, yeah. Miss Brenda Davis says, great everything, everyone. And Auntie Richetta from Atlanta says, good morning,
What's up,
butterfly,
Auntie?
everyone, and nephew. I put out the will of God. Delvin Tubbs says, be gator.
What up, Delvin? How you doing, man? Good morning, brother. Good morning, man. We got to link up if you're in Memphis. Let's link up, brother.
And
Yes.
then he says, good morning, mom and son. Amen. Good morning, Delvin. Hope everything is okay.
That's a good dude right there. Mama, that's somebody that would be good at RBA.
Really?
Yeah. I have to holler at him. You should hit him up. He's a good guy.
Delvin, are you here in Memphis? Is he, Brandon?
I think he is. Delvin, you in M-Town, let us know. And,
Okay.
yeah, we'll get up out of here. Thank y'all again for joining us this morning, letting us be a part of your morning routine. Hope y'all enjoyed the passage. Delvin said he is in Memphis, Mom. So yeah.
I see that.
Yep.
You have to give Delvin my number, Brandon. Tell him to call me.
All right. We'll have to link up, Delvin, and get you in on something, man. You know, we always cooking up something over here. But thank y'all again for letting us be a part of your morning. Have a beautiful Saturday. Let's go through this passage really briefly. The title for today was The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. And Tony Brown, the journalist and talk show host, gave us our quote for today, which was, for some, self-help is too much to ask. And after a brief passage speaking about, everything from prisoners of hope to the greatest fortunes from Frederick Douglass, W.E. Du Bois, and Oprah Winfrey, and Toni Morrison, were all people who relied on their own hands, right? On what they could do with their own hands. And to affirmation for today, that there is no free lunch. I plan on working for everything I get. That doesn't mean you don't have faith, but remember, faith without works is dead. So come alive out there, y'all. Bring your faith into action. Give life to your faith by putting your actions behind it, all right? So again, today is our 268th show on the In the Season podcast. Make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube and share this video and what, we went over today with somebody else and invite them to the show, all right? We love y'all. Y'all take care. We'll see y'all tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace.
All right, y'all feed the ducks. Life wearing you or you wearing the life? Ducks feeding you or you feeding the ducks? Groove on out.
And the pimp.
Say what, Brandon?
I said, pimping wearing you or you wearing?
Pimping wearing you or you wearing the pimp? Devin says, yes, nothing is free. We must work.
Amen.
Amen. If it's free, you ain't free. Somebody has bought you and sold you and can hold you. All right, you guys, we're going to get on out of here. Y'all be great. We'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time.